If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Ill-fated words I will choke.
Happy Friday football frenzy to everyone in the sports universe. I'm sorry, I'm laughing at your glasses. It is September the 30th, 2022. It's the last day of September for this year. September, you have my farewell. This is the AM Drive on our Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook pages. For Aaron Crouch, I am Michael Carvelis, and yes, I am safe from the storm. Thank you for asking.
Well, that's good to hear. I hear it's just a tropical storm now where you are, so. But, you never know with those safety. Yes, laughing at my glasses this morning, I was cleaning them, and I decided that they would become monocles.
Yes!
So, that is quite unfortunate. Now they're just sparklers.
Woo-hoo. You throw one out again.
That's quite unfortunate because I have a busy week ahead of me, and I don't know when I'm going to have time to get to the glasses place. I might have to go now. See ya.
We're having a good day. By the way, Charleston, South Carolina is getting slammed right now by what's still a very strong-winded storm. So it's like a direct hit over South Carolina. So shout out to them. Our website is the best place you can go to support our show, and really the most efficient and easy way to do so. It's our sponsors, shops, socials, and YouTube, all at mikeandaarondrive.com, which is sex talk for our link tree. That was bad.
Okay.
But yeah, you get it at mikeandaarondrive.com. Check out everything you need to know about our show, and we do thank you for that. Oh, Thursday Night Football happened, and
Yes.
the Bengals beat the Dolphins 27-15. So the under hit, and so did the cover 3.5. I want to get to the game first off because there's obviously an underlying story here. Joe Burrow was sacked one time by a team that blitzes a bunch. And really they couldn't get any pressure on Josh Allen, and now they couldn't get any pressure on this guy. So not only sure what blitzing does for them, besides nothing. But obviously the Tua thing is another story, but really the Bengals just made plays when they had to. Like T. Higgins, I believe, was the one who had the big game for them wide receiver-wise. Joe Mixon could have had 3 rushing touchdowns. He ended up having 1. Sucks for fantasy. Jamar Chase was kind of shut down until he beat the backup cornerback off the line of scrimmage when they thought they were just going to run the ball out. And so Joe Burrow said, no, watch this. We're going to throw it 40 yards and finish this game off. So, thoughts on the game, Aaron?
It was a relatively boring game despite the amount of playmakers that were in this game. Now, I know that's not a disrespect to Tyreek Hill. I mean, 10 catches, 59 yards, 160 yards. I mean, he had a good game. A lot of it, I don't know if it was garbage time because they were behind, but they weren't really out of the game, I would say, in that fourth quarter. Obviously
Right.
Teddy Bridgewater came in. I thought he played pretty respectably given the circumstance, but
What is it with Teddy and these injuries, man?
well, Teddy didn't suffer it, thankfully. I mean, but yeah, it's unfortunate that we had to see what we had to see with Tua Tagovailoa. But on the field, you're right. I mean, Jamar Chase. It's nice to see that Joe Burrow isn't just single-handedly relying on Jamar Chase to create the offense. Like you said, Tyler Boyd had a big play at the end of the game to set up the last touchdown. T. Higgins, big long touchdown against Xavier Howard, which then it turns out maybe Xavier Howard was hurt because then he was standing on the sideline with ice packs and et cetera. So I don't know. It was a rather pedestrian type game, but I know obviously it was overshadowed by the elephant in the room.
Yes, and I do want to ask you this: is Tyreek Hill like the best in the NFL? I know he doesn't make the sexy catches, But this dude, based on speed alone, might be right there on any given Sunday. I mean, he's up there.
So he's clearly a top 5 receiver. I mean, that's not to be questioned.
Right.
It's just, of course, they're so interchangeable. Like, his speed is what keeps him in that category, the top 5
Yes.
receivers. Like, I don't think he's necessarily the best deep threat. Now, he's a good deep threat because he's fast, but he's not tall, so he's not necessarily a best deep threat jump. He's obviously clearly not a jump ball threat. Like,
Right.
50-50 balls are not going to him. I mean, he's not like he's not Randy Moss, he's not Devontae Adams, he's not, even to an extent Jamar Chase on the other side there. But you're right, his speed and his cutting ability is really what keeps him kind of, I don't want to say relevant, but for lack of a better word, relevant up there in that category. I mean, I look at Cooper Kupp, who can do all those things as well, maybe slightly slower. Devontae Adams, who's an exceptional route runner. Right now, it's not really showing. I'm surprised at the Raiders' offense for that. But you have Justin Jefferson, who's the deep threat, who's tall, who's lanky. He fits in there. It's just, if you're really trying to rank him, I don't think he's the best receiver in the league, no. But I think he is definitely a top 5 receiver.
It's a great bold point by you.
And Waddle helps. Even though Waddle only had 2 catches last night, just the sheer fact that he's on the other side is helping Tyreek Hill tremendously.
I agree. Elephant in the room happened to play for a school with elephants as their mascot, technically, supposedly. Let's get to the Tua trials. That was the best T word I could come up with for this situation. This was 4 days after Matt Milano slammed Tua into the turf. On what you could say was maybe Matt Milano couldn't control it. I think he could. And Tua came back in the second half, and the Dolphins won. Well, this game, Tua plays 4 days later. The NFL already knows the NFLPA is not happy with the concussion protocols that were followed here. And yet they let him play because God knows everyone has to watch Prime this week. Aaron, I'm going to read you a tweet that I sent out, and then I want your thoughts on this because it's not pretty. And Twitter didn't. There was literally a mass amount of people that did not want Tua getting on the team plane back to Miami this morning. So I don't know what that's all about. Some altitude discussion going on there. But I said the NFL also failed Tua and its players, not just the Dolphins. They could have told Miami that he isn't playing, but they wanted those viewers on Prime. I could have sworn there was some head ref who shouldn't have even let him back in the Bills game, or is that whole process a lie? Aaron, if CTE matters to the NFL, I know they've kind of settled that lawsuit technically. They hand out some hefty fines and suspensions here. I mean, or not, loss of at least a draft pick. You can't let this slide if you're the NFL. It's just I think this is worse than Deshaun Watson for PR. I really do. Oh.
This is a very tough situation because
Yes.
I mean, I look at it this way. The NFL has spotters, they have independent doctors, they have neurologists on the sidelines, in the stadiums, around the teams. And the independent doctors have cleared them. The Miami doctors have cleared them. Now, do I really believe that this is all of us Amazon Prime?
No,
No, but I can understand why that theory exists. I do. Amazon paid a lot of money, but you look at the hit that came in this game. It didn't. I mean, he slung him around, but it didn't seem like it was that atrocious.
Agreed.
But that photo is going to live for the next few weeks. The gang signs that Tua was throwing up. That's going to be a burning image, a scarlet letter, so to speak, for the NFL right now. However, I will say this, and this is not in defense of the NFL. This is merely just my opinion, I guess you could say. Like, football's a violent game.
Duh.
And independent doctors, I would hope independently from what the NFL wanted or desires or wishes or what the Dolphins wanted, cleared him from a concussion last week. Now, this would be such an isolated incident that I would be shocked if they were actually pushing Tua in this game if he wasn't supposed to play. Because there have been many instances, and even Ryan Fitzpatrick talked about it. Like, I know Ryan Fitzpatrick's probably not Tua, but point being is that like they've had in previous games call down or buzz the team or whatever and say, look, that guy's got to come out. He's got to be checked. So why is Tua different? I mean, yes, Tua is on the verge or budding to become maybe a superstar quarterback with the new weapons he has, but let's be honest, he's not Patrick Mahomes, he's not Tom Brady, he's not Justin Herbert quite yet. So why do we think the NFL pushed Tua back on the field? Because it was a Thursday night game? Like, this is just a violent sport, and I think it's an unfortunate set of circumstances that happened. And when I watch the replay from Buffalo, when he gets up, there's two things that show me there. The one where he kind of shakes his head, and it looked, okay, maybe there is an issue. But then when he does stumble and fall down, it's totally plausible that's a back problem. It's totally plausible. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's false. I don't know. But for me, if I'm not Josh McDaniel, what's his name? What's the new coach name? Mike McDaniel?
Yeah.
I'm not 4 games into my career in one of the biggest issues that the NFL faces today on the field, sending back out a concussed quarterback. I'm 3-0. I can survive losing this game with Teddy Bridgewater, or maybe even winning. Teddy Bridgewater doesn't give you a poor chance to win. I mean, he kept them competitive until the end there. I mean, a bad connection with Mike Gesicki, and the game kind of changed. We saw that where either Gesicki ran the wrong route or Teddy Bridgewater thought he was running the wrong route. But the point is that I don't think that I'm not defending the NFL and the Dolphins. I think it's just a freak play that happened twice in a span of 4 days, and I don't know if the other one was necessarily a concussion problem. If they're telling me it was a back problem, that's possibly that it's true. But everybody with Twitter fingers wants to have an opinion. It doesn't necessarily make it right.
Another bad thing about this is I saw a lot of people who weren't even NFL fans commenting on this, and it's kind of like the Deshaun Watson thing, which is why I compare the two. Because like there you have like the woke crowd, the oh my gosh, NFL is horrible, they're brutal, they're cannibalistic people, they're barbaric, which is great. But really, in terms of a football aspect, I go back to the CTE thing. We know what happens when a guy not just slams the ground, but his head bumps he bumps the back of his head.
Right.
Which would have happened to Tua twice. So it's not like, he kind of, he fell hard on his back and, kind of laid back. He smashed his head in both instances, whether his back hit first or his elbow hit first. So it's like the fact that his elbow did hit first and he still had to be stretchered off because of head trauma going like this.
It's a strange sight. It's a strange sight for sure.
I agree. Like the overreactions of this are just astronomical right now. But the NFL has a problem because back to that Dolphins and Bills game, Aaron, I saw 4 guys in that game that were back within 2 plays. Like even Tyreek Hill when his helmet popped off was like shaking his head. He was shuddered. It was in like the next play. That's a problem to me.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get an investigation here. I'm not 100% sure what that investigation entails, but the NFLPA now even has more fuel because of what happened Thursday. But
the NFL reacts a lot too.
I know this is such an unpopular opinion, but I don't know if there's really any way. I mean, the NFL over the last 5 years has done so much, for lack of a better word, damage to the game by trying to make it a safe game for players.
It's like soft. People are calling it soft now.
So
wow, but yeah,
people are still suffering from concussions and CTE. Like, what can you do? What more can a league do? This is a violent sport. It is a contact sport. You know this going in, but you also have the ability to set your family up for generations. So sometimes it's a risk-reward kind of thing. We get mad when people like Andrew Luck leave after 8 years, but he's got all his faculties in play for the most part that we know of. and he's got $100 million to his name.
And his dad's rich, so.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like, this is a dangerous sport. This is a dangerous activity. I'm very sorry that these things happen. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not defending the NFL by any chance, but it's not that they're not supposed to care, but what are they supposed to do? They have literally they're putting everything they can into place to try to make this game at the detriment of the game, and it's still not working.
It's almost like when the UFC, I remember watching Greg Hardy. Great guy, by the way. I remember watching Greg Hardy when his first UFC fight he ever did, he like hit someone in the back of the head, like that disqualified him. It's like, I'm in the UFC now. What the crap? What are we doing here? And so it's the same issue with the NFL. Like, you're right. They're gladiators, and it's one of the most violent sports out there. You can make it all safe and resistant helmets and all kind of stuff all you want to, but it is what it is. And I do lean towards you with the whole yes, it's unfortunate. Like, it might just be a series of unfortunate events, but I still feel like, why is Tua put out there 4 days after he did stumble? Like, usually, I believe that one of the arguments was that Tua's Monday and Tuesday practices, he didn't miss any time. It was like, whoa, that never happens with a concussion.
He was cleared by independent and team doctors. I think I was watching the halftime thing, and I don't remember if it was Tony Gonzalez or Fitzpatrick. They said, I talked to Tua. He seemed like everything was all there. He said he was good. He said everything was fine. He was good to go. Like, I don't know the concussion protocol test. I really don't. Like, unless you literally do a CAT scan of the guy's brain, like,
right.
What are the determining factors for, red light, green light? What is it? What did he say? No go and no go.
Hey, walk a straight line, or
yeah, I mean, is it a sobriety test? But
Don't
yeah, I mean,
fold
what
my
if this
finger.
happened? What if this happened? Like, okay, so like, what if that swing around tackle by the defensive lineman happened to like Raheem Mostert, where he swung him around and all of a sudden, Mostert's head hits the ground and he's got the gang signs up. Do we care as much because it's a running back?
Well, if it happened 4 days before that, but then again, like I said, no one's talking about the Tyreek Hill and Chase Edmonds injuries, but whatever.
Right? Yeah, like you said, they were shaking their heads and they were back in the plays. Like,
all I hear about is Tua, though. You're right.
What do we look at here? It's a funky situation because I can't not defend. Like I said, not defending the NFL, but it feels like over the last decade they have tried everything in their power to make the game safe, and I think the game's suffered for it.
That's a good point. You want to take a break, or you just want to go straight into Fanatics?
Let's take a little break.
All right, let's do it. When we come back, all things NFL week number 4 of these, and that's not a game sign. That was just the week 4. We're right back to the AM Drive Best Bets coming up next. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah. You want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
All right, welcome back to this Friday Football Frenzy edition of the AM Drive. And if you want to get the best in sports apparel, merchandise, or memorabilia, you've got to go to mikeandaarondrive.com and do what?
Click the F.
You do. You got to click the F that is right here. And when you click that F, it takes you into Fanatics, the portal with all the good stuff from every sports league, team, and player that you can think of. Shop to your heart's content, add to cart, and buy. Remember, the Christmas season is coming up here sooner than you know it.
Whoa.
So don't forget all the great deals they have, like free shipping and 65% off site-wide. But you can't get all that stuff without going to mikeandaarondrive.com first and clicking that Fanatics logo because it helps out the AM Drive tremendously, and we thank you for that.
We do. Oh, you didn't do it. Okay. And we're tired of that. All times Eastern. We're back to it. 9:30 in the morning. Oh, top of the morning. Would you like some tea with that? No. I say it because it's in London. Vikings and Saints. The Vikings are 2.5-point favorites in the great Big Ben City, and it's 43.5 for the total. For me, I like the under, and that was if it was in New Orleans. I actually love the under now that it's in London. So there you go. The reason I say it's under is because I feel like Kirk Cousins, if you saw him against the Eagles defense, albeit prime time Kirk, he did not look good against a good defense. And I see the same thing happening here. I also think Vikings defense is good enough to maybe limit Jameis's big time throws that he likes to try. Alvin Kamara, I don't know if he's playing this game. He's been flirting with playing for the last 4 weeks. But we'll see. Michael Thomas is banged up again. He's in my fantasy, so curse him for that. But I like the under here.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting spot. I don't believe. First of all, when is this London experiment going to end? Like, if football is an Americanized sport,
yes.
Like we don't want to be getting up at. I don't want to be getting up at 6:30 in the morning to watch football.
I'm going to church when this game's going on, so I'm pissed. And I'm repenting.
Like, my philosophy is kind of crap or get off the pot. Like, if you're going to put a team in London, just freaking do it. Like, stop with these exhibition-type regular season games. And I'm not sure what you're trying to do. Like, I think it's incredibly unfair for these teams to have to do this. 100%.
And these two teams do not move the needle, by the way.
I think they can. Some of the players, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook if he plays, Alvin Kamara if he plays, Michael Thomas if he plays, they can move the needle. Jameis is fun to watch. The point being is that, like, all right, so let's look at it on the field here. Both these teams are coming off of some not so impressive games. One loss, one win for the Vikes there against the Lions. I think we're going to look for a fast start here. This game is in my AM Drive 5, so I won't give too much, but I think we look for a fast start here in these games. In this game in London from the Saints, and because the Saints got to get this offense thing going because they're just, for a team that's loaded with weapons, as they say. I understand that they're not all playing, but
where's Chris Olave?
They want to get this offense. They want to get this. I think fast start is the key for both these teams. How I think this will shake out, you'll have to find out at the end of the show.
First half, I can already see it now. Okay, you've done that a few times, by the way. First half unders or whatever you do. We'll see.
I considered a first half bet in my AM Drive 5 this week, but I didn't know if we were still doing those. So if they're still allowed, I might have to reassess next week.
I'll also let you do it if you feel like you have to do that because you are the actual bettor of the show and you know more than I. So I'll take it.
Bets are bets, right? I mean, I try not to use prop bets. I try to use
prop bets are fun.
On the teams, at least on the games, not just prop bets.
I do prop bets on the AM Drive on Weekend Kickstart. Just to let you know.
I love it. Don't forget, Friday tonight at 7 p.m.
Or Friday, yeah. 1 o'clock, the regular games. It's the Titans and the Colts. Hey, nice hat. I got it from Fanatics. Using this website, actually. Colts are 3.5-point favorites. The total's at 43. This one is in my AM Drive 5, but it's only for the total. So all week long, I've been on the Titans plus 3.5. And so I love it. I even picked it on Pick'emores. Go to pick'emores.com/podcast. By the way, shout out to them for giving me my my shout out this morning with the double down.
Oh, did they?
Titans plus 3.5. I think Colts win by a field goal. I'm going plus 3.5 for the Titans.
Oh, interesting. I like that. So your AM Drive 5 is on the total, you said, right?
Yes.
So this is a big game. This is a very crucial game for these two teams early in the season because they were both projected to be the class of the AFC South. I know that's kind of an oxymoron, but for these two teams, getting their second win is going to be big, especially getting their second win against a division rival. All that being said, which team's playing better right now? I know that the Colts beat the Chiefs, and it looks fantastic on paper, but they can't rest on that. They've got to continue to continue to build off of that. Derrick Henry finally broke out first game of the season last week against the Raiders. I look at this play. It's got to be consistent play, and for me, it's the quarterbacks. Tannehill and Ryan haven't been good consistently, and I think that's going to be. Well, that's ironic that his last name is Ryan, yes. But, to me, this is a tough game because these games historically have been, I don't want to say dominated by the Titans, but the Titans have had the upper hand historically lately. But the Colts on paper do seem like the better team. You're the Colts guy. Like, a lot of injuries are happening right now. Like, who do we have in the Colts uniforms that is actually going to play? Like, Shaquille Leonard's still out for the season.
Which is fine.
So far. But, I know that DeForest Buckner's questionable, Gilmore's questionable, Ngakwe's questionable. Like, the defensive side of the ball is really tough. And those are the guys that they need to stop Derrick Henry if they don't want Derrick Henry to break out.
One of the guys that's completely stood out on the defensive film, on the condensed replays I've seen, Stephon Gilmore's tackling has been insane. Like, he is really the guy keeping us from giving up. Because last year we gave up big plays in the secondary. So if Gilmore is out for this game, this might be Titans by a field goal. But as for Shaquille Leonard, if you look at the last 7 games like Derrick Henry's played against the Colts, he's running like 120 each time. Like, it doesn't matter if he's playing or if Shaquille's playing or not. So, yeah.
Speaking on the other side there, like, Jonathan Taylor hasn't broken out either so far, and he missed practice this week for the first time in his life, apparently. This could be an ugly game. Like, so far, the offenses have not gotten going for these two teams. Indianapolis is dead last in the NFL in scoring offense, and the Titans are 22nd. So I don't know. I kind of feel like I know where your AM Drive is leaning, but we'll have to see at the end of the show.
We will have to see, actually. Bills, Ravens. Now, this one came close to my AM Drive 5. Because it's such a big game, it did not. I actually like the Ravens to win this game. I've been on the Ravens all week. Stephen A. Smith joined me in that sentiment by saying Lamar Jackson's going to play well, and I completely agree. Bills are also coming off that ugly game. You see how it affected the Dolphins? Even with Chilla, that team was hurting, you could tell. And Bills got punched in the mouth as well from the Dolphins. I do believe the Ravens secondary is good enough to kind of limit Stephon Diggs. Because, Diggs he's made a couple secondaries look kind of foolish. But I do believe this game, the Ravens are going to control the clock. And I think Lamar Jackson will do more than enough to win this game. And Josh Allen will be trying to pick apart the secondary, and it just won't happen.
Well, Josh Allen is going up against the historically bad Ravens secondary right now. They are allowing 360 yards passing a game so far. So, I know a lot of that was Tua with his 400-yard efforts in the Dolphins game. But it's going to be probably Diggs versus Peters, as he's the only, I think, healthy name in that backfield, that defensive backfield they got left. Everybody is gushing over Lamar Jackson right now, and this is really a high spot for the Ravens. It's a chance to buy low for the Bills, because don't forget, what we saw the Bills the first 2 weeks, everybody was ready to crown them. Like, it's amazing how quickly people after that Thursday night game to open up the season, people were like, just hand them a Lombardi. They're ready. Hand them a Lombardi. Well, it's a long season. I mean, I think Sammy even said it. Like, they're going to be tough outs. Well, they lost to the Dolphins. Like, things happen. This NFL is crazy. I think this is a spot to buy low on the Bills here, and for them to get a gritty, gutsy kind of win, like a 4 or 5 point win, where they maybe even have to come back on their own turf. Or this isn't Baltimore, but they might have to come back and win this game. Like, why is it that the Ravens are dogs at home if they're so good? Like, you're telling me on a neutral field this game's a pick'em? Or, excuse me, on a neutral field this game's Buffalo -6. Sorry, on a neutral field this game's Buffalo -6. Do you believe that on a neutral field Buffalo's 6 points better?
Nope.
Then why does Vegas?
They're not smart.
Maybe not, but they don't build those casinos on winners. Trust me.
I just believe Lamar Jackson is, because I was one of the first to this boat. By the way, I told people, and I believe you were too. Like, we were both two of the ones that said, "Hey, Ravens are not gonna be happy that they allowed Lamar Jackson to play out this contract year," because I saw him exploding this year. I think you had him as a dark horse MVP.
I do. The thing is all what's really going to matter at the end of the day with this whole dog and pony show with Lamar Jackson is what happens in the playoffs. He does this stuff every year. Statistically, he's electric. I mean, we know that. That's not a problem. But when we talk to like Joe Madden and other people, like, my philosophy is
That was great.
My philosophy with Lamar Jackson is, and until he proves me wrong, is can you win big games with him at quarterback? Now, again, it's a team sport, I know, and any narrative changes to support whatever you're trying to say here, but I believe that the Ravens don't have the talent around Lamar Jackson to win a Super Bowl in spite of him. Does that make sense? It's not because Lamar has bad games, or Lamar will have a game where he is bottled up, so to speak. But their running game's not great other than him so far. But J.K. Dobbins is still not fully back. Their recievers are meh at best, and their defense is actually not what it once was. I mean, we remember all-time Ravens defense. It's like that's my philosophy with Lamar. All these weeks, all these guys all there on Twitter, pay Lamar, pay this guy. Of course, these stats are phenomenal. What he does in the regular season, he might even win another MVP. I don't know. But show me in a divisional playoff game that you can take control and win a game for your team.
If they're shutting down your running, are you going to make the pocket passes? And people, I've noticed that, like, because I'm a huge Lamar fan, but people like to play this game where it's like, oh, well, he can run good. Like, okay, yeah, but you have to face the facts that one day, when the teams get really good in the playoffs, which they usually do, and they get hot defensively, you have to make that throw. Ask Jimmy Garoppolo about missing a throw in a big game and tell him how he feels.
And how much it matters, how much the difference of inches really matter. Like you said, like, we don't talk about Mahomes with a ring at this point. We talk about Garoppolo. I mean, Trey Lance probably doesn't get drafted third overall. Quickly, this scenario plays out for me with Lamar and the Ravens. They pay him. One way or another, they're going to pay him.
Right.
The question is if they have to pay him more now with an MVP on his resume, how much does that affect the ability to increase the team around him? And again, I think that's the big thing. The team around him matters. He's not the quarterback that makes inferior players that much better.
And ask Tom Brady how great it is to take pay cuts.
Sure, 100%. I mean, look, we've already seen the casualty of Tyreek Hill because of Patrick Mahomes' $45 million. Now, what happens when Josh Allen's 40-something million kicks in? Kyler Murray's and then Lamar's possible 50 here. I mean, we'll see. Are these quarterbacks good enough to lead teams that have inferior weapons? We'll see.
Right. The Jaguars and the Eagles, this one also, actually, it is in my AM Drive 5, but it's not for, it was originally the spread and the money line, because I had Jaguars as my upset of the week, full disclosure. But this game is total of 45.5 is in my AM Drive 5. So if you're not feeling frisky, just take the Jaguars plus 6.5. Because I'm telling you, Aaron, I don't know if like any of Jaguars players circled this game, but let me know if you think Doug Peterson was like, listen to the schedule. Oh, I'm in Philly. Oh, they think I'm not a good coach anymore. Okay. Yeah. He's definitely circled this game. I think he's going to have it coming to the Eagles, man.
I don't think that the Eagles didn't think Doug Peterson was a good coach. I think he made a few bonehead moves that ultimately spiraled things out of control for him. But that being said, this is a classic case of either team you buy on the side, you're buying them high. I mean, the Jaguars coming off of a huge beatdown of the Chargers. Now I know the Herbert injury, this, that, and the other, which is funny because you're all about the Chargers this week. It's an interesting spot. And Philly is now the last undefeated team. Do we think that the undefeated teams are going to be gone by week 4? I think it would be one of the earliest spots that this has happened in a long time, that we've had an undefeated, like no more undefeateds by like the first month of the season.
Have you heard my top 5 Tuesday? One of the lists I gave like basically my full 32, and I told people that I think there's 24 good teams in the NFL. There's like 24 good, and like the last team is like the Raiders, because they're 0-3. Like,
and the standings could show that. I mean, I think the Raiders can definitely hang with anybody, even at 0-3, and we'll obviously talk about them later here in the show.
The parity is insane this year.
This is a game that I never really ever felt a side, or I never really felt anything lean on. So ultimately, I'm off this game altogether. But I mean,
money line.
I think Philadelphia is still rolling. Jalen Hurts right now, just this is one I love, and this is one of those. Aaron said it first, that like,
woo!
Once I was in Jalen Hurts' corner, once he said the rent is due every day. I was. How many times have I said that? Like, I love the fact that he said that the rent is due every day. Like, nothing he does is ever good enough, and I like that kind of chip on my shoulder mentality. And I think it continues. I'm sorry, Jags, you're 2-2 now, and I think the Eagles win this game by 10 points.
I could see that, but I'm just saying, and that's actually why I stayed off the spread in my AM Drive 5, because I actually felt like the Eagles, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but Nick Sirianni, everything's wide open. It's like, he's a genius, man. Everything's so easy for Jalen Hurts. It's insane.
Yeah, this game for me, I don't know where you're on with your AM Drive 5, but this game feels like an under, like a 26-16 kind of game.
Wow. Okay. The Chicago Bears and the New York Giants. This game was close to my AM Drive 5, but I'm going to go with under 39. I think we're going to suck performance here. I know the Bears, they are good against the pass, supposedly, albeit they played, who was it, Trey Lance, and then who else have they played? The Bears. They played the Packers, who all they did was run.
They beat the Texans last week.
Yeah, so they played Davis Mills, the Packers, who refused to pass the ball for some reason, and they played Trey Lance in week 1. And that was in a mud fest, by the way.
Right.
So I can see the Giants win this game by more than 3 points, because I think Daniel Jones could actually pick apart a team like this. But I think we get more of a punt fest here. And I think Giants do win, but I like just the back and forth. Who's going to break the big run? Is it Khalil Herbert? Is it Saquon Barkley?
That's the thing you mentioned. Is Khalil Herbert is how much of a downgrade is he from David Montgomery? Because every time we've seen him spell Montgomery, he's actually performed pretty admirably, and he's going up against the Giants defense that's probably going to allow him to do those things. Look what they did on Monday night with Pollard.
Even Zeke played well, yeah.
But looking at this thing, like if I told you at the beginning of the season this would be a matchup between two 2-1 teams, you'd have told me.
I was going to say that. I'm glad you said that.
So it's kind of an interesting spot here. Both teams are still feeling good. I know the Giants are coming off a loss. Bears are coming off an exciting win against the Texans. But this one, I think the better team is the Giants. I don't really have a play in this spot, but I think the Giants do win this game.
I think if you said the Giants are a better team, but let's say Giants win by 6 or 7. That's easy.
Oh, I got to give you a spread too. Just
But Graham
Giant.
Gano, though, might make this a field goal game because Graham Gano is an exceptional kicker, by the way. I don't know if you've seen that. Dude in New York does not miss.
You know where Graham Gano went to college?
Don't say UCF.
Florida State.
Oh. Boo! When you guys lose to Wake Forest, that's going to be sad.
2-point win. Calling it right now.
Commanders and the Cowboys. Now, this game is interesting because the total is at 41.5, and I want to just tell people why I'm picking the over here. You know, you might think, well, it's Cooper Rush, it's, Carson Wentz, it's Cowboys defense. The way I see it is Carson Wentz knows this team. I mean, not that it matters, but, he's got some NFC East experience. The Commanders' defense is still not the defense of old. Cooper Rush does look very comfortable now in his third week starting this season. I do believe Zeke will have a good game. I do believe the Commanders actually spread the ball around, like to Jahan Dotson. Shout out to my fantasy. Terry McLaurin is like not even the number one anymore because it's just like, and they've got Curtis Samuel, who is like the little gadget guy. I can see this game going over 41.5. May not be by much, but I can see this game being like a 43 or 44 point total here. So I'll take the. I do think the Cowboys win it though.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys get another one here in the bag during the Dak Prescott absence. But I think this one's close. I'm really hoping. I got my eye on this game. It didn't make my AM Drive 5, but I do have my eye on this game. I kind of hope that it goes to Dallas 3.5. I will be playing the Commanders here if it does this week. I feel like I'm buying low, or I'm buying low on the Commanders here. Cowboys are firing all cylinders, and they rightfully should. I mean, Cooper Rush is playing incredible ball. I know that Mike McCarthy's already said like there's no quarterback controversy, no matter what happens. But he goes 4-0 in Dak's absence, and Dak maybe comes out a little rusty. We'll see. I don't know, but yeah, I think this is a division game, tough division game. Commanders aren't going to want to get smacked around 2 weeks in a row. I think they ultimately lose, but I think if I can get 3.5, I think this game does finish right around that field goal.
I love it because Greg Zerline, I believe this is his second stint with Dallas, and they were mentioning during the broadcast. Huh?
No, it's Brett Maher.
Same. That's what I meant. Brett Maher. I'm sorry. They don't sound the same, but that was just my head. Anyways, Brett Maher, this is his second stint with Dallas, is what the Monday Night Crew was saying, and he did pretty well last week.
Yeah, I was just looking at this. Something I don't love in terms of for the Commanders here is Michael Gallup is expected to play this week, so another guy they got to cover.
As a deep threat, and they've already got Noah Brown, and even CeeDee Lamb showed that he can take over a drive, albeit against the Giants, but still.
Yeah, not good news for Washington.
You remember the former Cowboys tight end that passed away, by the way?
Yeah, Escobar, I saw he was rock climbing. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
I just want to give a shout to him because I don't recognize the name, but apparently it was pretty recently that he played. So
yeah, he was probably within the last 3 to 4 years.
It looked like it was pretty recent photos of him playing.
I mean, he's only 31, so he's probably been in the league within the last 5 years, I would say, yeah.
Well, that's sad. I just don't go rock climbing. There's so many accidents that happen, but shout out to him. And well, obviously his family at this point. Chargers and the Texans, and this is my Pick'em Wars double down. So full disclosure, it is in my AM Drive 5. If you've watched the video on AM Drive TV, you've already know I'm picking. But for the sake of the show, I won't tell you. But just know it's my double down, and I'm so excited for this game. I'm not going to watch. I'm just so excited for the outcome.
Why though? What are you so excited about? I mean, the Texans are still winless
Lovey
against
is
a team.
A good gritty coach, but I feel like Brandon Staley. This is a get right game for the Chargers. This is a blowout. This is like the Bengals. What was it against Jets last week?
I can see what you're saying. I mean, they have to. I mean, they cannot lose this game. Like they cannot be. They can't
win by 3. They have to win by 20.
Style points don't matter in the NFL. I get what you're saying, but
Confidence.
how much is Justin Herbert hurting? Because the problem is, and as much as I like this guy for fantasy purposes, Austin Eckler
Austin
is a
Slater.
is a crappy running back.
I told people that.
He is a crappy running back. And for all the money they paid Mike Williams, he is a crappy $20 million receiver. They need Keenan Allen
He
back.
wins 50-50 balls and can't run a route. I agree.
Yeah, he's an average receiver at best. For them to pay him $20 million sounded good at the time, trust me. But yeah, I think Chargers get back on the winning ways. I do think they'll ultimately cover the spread, but I can't. They stink. They have a stench to them right now to be betting on them.
Now their defense for all those names. And I think Joey Bosa is out for a good while, ain't he?
I don't know, but I know that J.C. Jackson is hurt. Keenan Allen's hurt. You know, they've got. I mean, obviously Justin Herbert is hurt.
I'm pretty sure Joey Bosa's hurt for a while, maybe the whole season.
It's possible.
Anyways, if you can look that up, that'd be great. Browns and Falcons. This game is just ugly to look at because Browns are 1-point road favorites. It's like, okay, cool. You like to think the Browns would be better favorites here considering Jacoby's playing decent. Nick Chubb is still chubbing along. Kareem Hunt does not care about the trade talks or his trade demand, should I say. Amari Cooper is getting better with Jacoby Brissett. But Aaron, I watched the Falcons last week, albeit against the Seahawks. They like to take their shots. And Cordarrelle Patterson actually is doing pretty good as a running back, albeit against the Seahawks defense. I'll say that again. But it's like, this game feels like a shootout. And that's weird. But I'm going to go over 47, man. I think both teams will move at will in this game.
Yeah, Falcons-Browns is going to be a pretty good spot here. And like you said, the Falcons have been playing good football. I mean, they've lost by a combined 5 points this year, and they're 1-2. I thought they'd beat the Seahawks a little bit better than they did, but they still came out of Seattle with the victory. The Browns, it's hard to really make of what the Browns are because the Browns should be, I believe, 3-0. I mean, they blew the game against the Jets, and that is quite unfortunate. I know the Nick Chubb situation, he obviously learned from it, so to speak. Yada, yada, this, yada, yada, that. But the Browns should be 3-0. This is going to be a tough drag-em game. This is in my AM Drive 5, so I'll keep it to a minimum here. But I will say that Marcus Mariota has impressed me more than I thought he would.
Yeah.
And the same goes for Jacoby Brissett here. So this is going to be a really good game. You'll have to stay tuned to the end to find out which way I think this is going to go.
Love it. Jets, Steelers. I want no part of this game either way. And I do have the under 41.5 because I picture this game being another suck fest. It's just going to be like, Trubisky's not going to find the open guy. And then Najee Harris, I believe, is going to be the person, if you want to bet on anything, bet who's over in this game because he finally did get going last week. But it's like, man, I just feel like Jets could find a sneaky, way to keep this thing within a field goal. But I also could feel the Steelers' defense just engulfing them to win by 10 points by themselves, like a 10-0 kind of game. So I'm just going to go under 41.5. Oh.
God dang it, man. I hate when I do that. This game just missed my AM Drive 5. I'm on the Jets plus 3.5. I think Zach Wilson's coming back. I think people are still not 100% of people know that, first of all. And I think that people are just buying low, extremely low on the Jets. I think Steelers ultimately get this victory, but it's between 1 and 3 points.
Zach Wilson's back?
Yes.
Hey, you see that? You saw the tweet from Adam Schefter, right? That he's a star left tackle.
Yeah, he typoed. Yeah, I saw that. Everybody ran with it.
That was good.
I just love how like you have like 100 comments and somebody just feels like their 101st comment's going to be just like the most funny. Like, okay, we get it. He's clearly screwed up, but like there was 3,000 comments. Oh, left tackle, yeah. And the one I did find funny was moms don't bang left tackles, moms bang quarterbacks. That one was good.
I wish I'd see. I scrolled a while. I didn't see that one. Another thing I want to say quickly about those comments is one of them was like, "Hey, Adam, you screwed up, and don't worry, Twitter will definitely tell you."
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
1.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, like, how do you feel like your 1,417th comment's going to be the most funny? Like, we get it. He messed up. He probably should have just deleted it, but I think he just likes to run with it.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Seahawks, Rams. Seahawks, Lions. Okay, cool. We're going to go Seahawks +4. Don't care. I'm sorry, Lions fans.
Yeah, the Lions should roll this game comfortably, but I'm not ready to be backing the Lions as a favorite just yet. So I'm just kind of, like you said, out on this game. Like, I think the Lions will win this game. If you put a gun to my head, I'd give the 4 points. Yeah.
All right, Rebecca, I have to take a dump. I'm kidding. I'm back. Okay. Cardinals and Panthers at 4:05 Eastern. Panthers -1.5. Well, they're 1.5 point favorites. I know you hate when I say that. And the total's at 43.5. I have learned.
I don't hate when you say that. I hate when you say Panthers -1.5. I hate when you say 1.5. That's what I hate.
I've got Panthers to win by, 7 points. But I don't like either side of this.
Yeah. Cardinals, I know it's a small sample size, but the Cardinals should be better. They seem to be playing better away from their own stadium. They're 1-0, obviously, with a comeback victory. Kyler versus Baker, eh?
Kyler should be better.
Yeah, but the Panthers are at home. I think the Panthers have the better team. I really do.
And they still have no Hopkins either until next week. So
correct.
That tells me why I'm on the Panthers.
I think it's six games, right? I think it's a 6-game
Is it
suspension.
4? Is it 6? Yeah. Oh, gross.
I think it's a 6-game suspension. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't want to be. I didn't give too much thought to this game. I don't want to pretend like I did. Baker Mayfield has played terribly so far in the passing game. I think he's connected he's like 54% or something like that. He's pretty brutal. But somehow McCaffrey finds a way to get these guys a bit. Carolina wins.
Packers Patriots, made it quick here. I've got under 40.5. I feel an ugly keep away game from Bill Belichick, who said, by the way, Mac Jones, 12 times is day to day.
Yeah, I loved when he said that.
So I'm just going to go under 40.5. I think Packers try to run the ball with success. Patriots don't know who the quarterback is, don't care, under.
It's Brian Hoyer. And maybe, just maybe, we see your boy Bailey Zapp in there this week.
Yes! I was waiting for you to say that.
All that being said, this is another one. I feel like I can't be betting against Bill Belichick. I don't care who his quarterback is, getting 9.5 points. So ultimately, I think you're right with the under here. I don't see how the Patriots are gonna have to run the ball too. That's the only way they're gonna be successful.
Yep.
I think.
Oh,
so give me the Patriots plus 9.5 here in this spot.
There you go. Broncos Raiders. This one almost made my AM Drive 5, but eventually I didn't care about either coach. But that was the reason why I chose the Raiders. It's Josh McDaniels against Nathaniel Hackett. Give me the guy who's a little bit better. Raiders.
Yeah, I think the Raiders get off the schneid. The only team that it's crazy to think they're the only. I guess they're not the only winless team, but they're the only 0-3 team. I know we still have the Texans, but I think the Texans will be the only winless team left in the NFL after this week. Vegas wins. Vegas wins by 3-4 points.
That's fair. Hey, Sunday Night Football. Oh wait, you have to tune in tonight to the AM Drive TV Spaces. You're welcome.
It's going to be a good one. I'm not sure if I'm going to be on the Spaces yet, so I'll just say this. Obviously, Bucks Chiefs is going to be some great viewing, some premium viewing there. Let's hope the Buccaneers can get freaking healthy, got a lot of their weapons back. Mike Evans coming back off of his suspension. Should be a good one. We'll talk about it more on our spaces tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern at AM Drive TV on Twitter.
Let's do a quick break. When we come back, we're doing AM Drive 5, and then we'll wrap it up. Fair?
I like it.
The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah, you want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Make picks against the spread every week for free in college and NFL football and also UFC this week as well. Who looks tougher? Go to pick'emores.com/podcast. I missed that. Okay, hashtag AM Drive 5. Aaron, hand them out.
Before I do that, I will say this. I was just watching the replay of Tua's, the sack on Tua and the injury, and I will say this. This is probably in bad form and unpopular opinion, but if he was a right-handed quarterback, he would not be concussed right now.
It's rough.
By the way that he got spun around, if he was right-handed, he would have been able to brace himself. I know that it's not relevant, but I just looked at it. The first thing that popped in my head, I was like, man, being a lefty, he couldn't brace himself because the ball was in that hand. Anyways, all right, looking at the AM Drive 5 here, I will full disclosure say that this was a tough board this week, and I said that earlier. I think I said that yesterday's show as well. Like, I do not like a lot of things on the board. However, 5 picks coming your way here, courtesy of our AM Drive 5 here. My first one, Kentucky +7 over Ole Miss. I think the Wildcats get a win here, but I'm going to take the 7 points. Getting them back off the schneid after a loss, I'm going to take Oklahoma -6. It went down to 6 for me. Thank you. Over TCU. I think they get a big win, comfortable 14 to 20 point win over TCU after that L that Kansas State handed them last week. Going back to the Wake Forest Wake Forest +7 over Florida State. The more I sit here and think about this, the more I feel like this is just a sucker bet. I don't know why. Maybe it was because Wake was at home last week versus on the road this week. But I also don't want to believe that Florida State's completely back to where they're dominating teams at this point. So I'm going to go back to the Wake +7 over Florida State. London, I'm going to say these two teams are ready. They had their breakfast, they had their tea and their crumpets, and they go over the 43.5 Minnesota-New Orleans. I think Jameis and Kirk have a little bit of a quarterback battle. I think this game gets into the 50s. So give me over 43.5. And the Fan Browns. Give me the Falcons with a home win over Chubb and the boys.
Chubb and the boys.
I guess you really can't say Chubb around Deshaun Watson's new team. So around Jacoby Brissett and the boys. Falcons get the home win, but I'm taking the +1 just in case. Just in case there's a tie. I'll take the +1.
For the sake of the AM Draft 5. I like that. Okay. I have 5 bets here, obviously. 2 college, 3 pro, and 3 of them I've nicknamed it. Well, actually 4 of them now. My shaving cream pie guarantee of the week, Coastal Carolina -10.5 against Georgia Southern. Don't shoot me, Southern fans. A game that I'm now calling the Aaron said it first game, Kentucky +7 against Ole Miss. I hate when we do that, but yeah, it's
What?
I'm mad. You convinced me with the running back thing yesterday.
How am I supposed to catch up to you if you're betting the same games?
Right. My hometown pick of the week, well, home favorite team kind of thing here. A team that I know well. Titans and Colts go over 43. Matt Ryan gets back on the Schneid in the Colts uniform, or on the Schneid in the Colts uniform. And Derrick Henry and the Titans have fun as well. Then we get an over game, and I think Colts win by a field goal by Chase McLaughlin, who I actually used to have on like Madden 11. So, no, that's a lie. Madden 17, or same thing. Jaguars, Eagles. Over 45.5. Both teams have really good offenses so far. I think that continues. I think Jaguars get the win. I'm going to go with the over to be safe. And also my double down bet of the week, not the guarantee. Not the guarantee, you lucky bastard. I'm going to go with the Chargers -5 against the Texans.
Doubling down. Pick 'em Wars double down. There it is. You have it. The AM Drive 5s from both of us. They'll be up on AM Drive picks here shortly as well after the show finishes airing. But don't forget to enjoy this weekend. We got a lot of football on. Of course, the Spaces tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Michael Corvallis will see you there, will he? Yes, he will see you there. Make sure you tune in, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And don't forget, when we come back Monday, it'll be Mike and Sammy Action for Action Monday. All that excitement and more coming up in the next few days. But make sure, until we see you next time, to support the sponsors and the socials and the YouTube at mikeandaarondrive.com. And, of course, support us on our Twitters, which are right there and there, over there. Make sure you follow us on Twitter as well. But until then, enjoy the games, enjoy the weekend, stay safe, enjoy the family, and, of course, as always,
Try